Hey everybody, how's it going? It is Matt and it is Terrifying Tuesday. First and foremost, I do hope each and every one of you are having a great morning, evening, dawn, day, or dusk. All that lovely stuff because life really is too short as is. Please do like, share, and subscribe. I love seeing each and every one of you every Monday through Friday, permitting my schedule, and then of course holidays. I know the last couple of weeks I've been a little spotty on my reviews, but this week I'm back up and running and there's no I don't see anything in the near future that's going to be holding me back from doing any reviews. So do tune in every Monday through Friday for me, especially for the rest of this month. I have some interesting stuff lined up. I got a bunch of new stuff that I can do for the entire month. And today is definitely a new one for me as well. I absolutely loved and adored it. But before I get to that, also do look in the description box for more information on the daily film, such as your brief synopsis, your starring cast, your director, runtime of the cut I'm watching, along with an MPAA rating if there is one that exists, some trivia, a link for a trailer, for either a trailer or a scene in the movie. So it's going to be one or the other on that, and that's usually about everything I put in there. I give you a nice little bit of a taste of everything that I'm going over to help, I guess, make or break it if you want to decide to watch a copy of it or not. You know, this one's pretty easy to find. I got it for less than $20 on Blu-ray. I know that you can, if you look around, you can get it for a really decent price. I know that the older DVD of release of it is super reasonably cheap. So this one is definitely one that there isn't any excuses for not being able to find a copy on this one, because it is super easy to find here stateside. This one came out all the way back in 1974, so it is 46 years old today. It is none other than The Beast Must Die. Yes. I absolutely loved this movie. It is so much fun. It is corny, yet it works just good enough to works perfect. Not just good enough. It works perfect for what it is. It doesn't try to become anything too serious. It doesn't take itself too 100% seriously. There's some comedy that is sprinkled in through here that I don't know if it's intentional or unintentional, but there's definitely little things here and there throughout it that I kind of giggled over. But all in all, this is an absolute thrill ride. I loved it from beginning to end. There is zero complaints that I really have about this, other than it didn't nothing really. The runtime was perfect. The story developed rather well. I never got bored. It just constantly stayed on a nice up and up. So it is definitely a good release. And by the way, this comes from the fine folks over there at Severin Films. If you can see the little logo down here in the corner, it is zero reversible artwork on this one, but it is a standard issue pressed Blu-ray. It's upside down there. Whoop. There you go. Now, it is a standard issue press Blu-ray. It does come with a few special features. You got an audio commentary on there. What was the feature that they had? They had a featurette with the producer, the director interview. There was a whole thing basically an expose on where this story for The Beast Must Die originated from. It originated from a story called And Then There Were None, which was originally written by Agatha Christie, and then it developed into another story, which eventually they took both stories, melded them together, and put a werewolf in the middle of it, and they came up with The Beast Must Die. It is an absolute thrill ride, like I was saying before. So the special features are very informative on here. Definitely one I would check out. It does kind of go over the history of Amicus as well in here. There is a very deep history of Amicus with the who was it that did that one? It was the audio interview with the producer, with one of the producers. He really goes in depth over several films over the years of Amicus, including like their very beginning all the way to the very end, and everything they did in between, even some of the comedies and musicals that they did along the way. Stuff that you don't really hear too many people talk about, but basically, it's a fun little interview that you have in there as well. You got all kinds of little goodies mixed throughout that special features there. So do check out the features on that. Oh, and then they talk about how this is basically a blaxploitation film in a roundabout way, because all your main cast, or not your main cast, but your main character is played by an African American man. He is basically I wouldn't say being oppressed, because the guy played by Calvin Lockhart is a millionaire. He's a very, very rich man. He's a hunter, but it has those kind of vibes of like a blaxploitation film, if that makes sense. Kind of along the lines of like a Blackula or a Blackenstein, or maybe even Abby, stuff like that. I would put it there like along those lines, but as a werewolf movie. So a very corny werewolf movie, by the way. The werewolf is nothing but a really shaggy German Shepherd with a bunch of fur attached to it. It's not very intimidating at all. It doesn't look cool. It doesn't look anything like what you see here on the cover. So if you're going in thinking you're going to see some kind of weird wonky werewolf that looks like that, you're not getting that. So that was one thing that I was like, well, where's the werewolf? Where's the close-up like what you see on the cover? You never get that. It's an actual real dog that they're using for the filming for the werewolf. So keep that in mind. And now, like I said, this one came out back in 1974. It is only rated PG, by the way, folks. The cut I watched ran at 1 hour and 32 minutes. I don't think this one has run into any cuts along the way, because there's no nudity, there's no sexualness, zero swearing, no drug use. There's a little bit of alcohol in there. There's talk of cannibalism and murder, but it really is very, very tame. It's an Amicus film. Their films don't quite push boundaries. They pushed boundaries. Don't get me wrong, but not like what we do nowadays. Nowadays, we go. Not only do we go past the line, we spit and piss on the line as we're going past it. We're very flagrant with how far we like to push the boundaries on our movies. It's an interesting time to be a fan of cinema, that's for sure. And now, who all do we got in here? Like I said, you got Calvin Lockhart and you got Peter Cushing in here. You got both of them they're both two of the starring cast. There's 8 people in total that are a part of, or 9 people, 10 people if you count one of the other security type people for Calvin Lockhart's character, because essentially what he is a millionaire hunter, and he's invited these 8 people to come to his house on this island for a weekend getaway. In all, they all have something in common, which is that death and tragedy, very tragic deaths Usually violent deaths happen around them. People partially eaten and throats ripped out and things like that. Very grisly, gruesome things that they're coming up with, that they're talking about. It's all in your mind. It's psychological. They don't show this kind of stuff. So keep that in mind. This is you do have to use your brain. So if you're scared to use your brain, don't watch The Beast Must Die. It's not like you're going in here expecting a Citizen Kane type film. It is a very straightforward werewolf movie that is a whodunit, and it is set up. It's a werewolf movie that's set up in a whodunit style of fashion. Very, very neat. I really, really can't say anything bad. So he invites these people, and like I was telling you, they all have these tragic things going on with their lives, and he tells them flat out that one of them is a werewolf. He keeps testing them throughout this entire movie, and he's like, you know what, before this is said and done, I will have the werewolf. I will kill you, and then we will all move on with our lives. One of those kind of ordeals. That's how Calvin Lockhart's character completely approaches this. He is got a lot of charisma behind his character. I really enjoy him. I can watch it again just for his character alone. Both him and Cushing just do great working with each other. Cushing's the man in everything he does, from big things to little things. You cannot complain about Mr. Cushing. And then who else do we got? We got Anton Diffring in here. We got Charles Gray, and then Michael Gambon in here, which Michael Gambon, I believe, went on to play Dumbledore in the Harry Potter movies. So you got a very interesting cast of people here inside this. There's not a dog in the bunch, other than the dog that they're using for the werewolf. But as far as what else is it's about. He's slowly going through doing all these tests, basically crossing off who is and who isn't, who's your best possibilities. At one point, you get towards the end of the film, and they have what they call a werewolf break, and basically what they do is they pause the movie, and they have a narrator come in, which the narrator at the very beginning, the narrator is from the very beginning, that sets you up the whole story as well, about how everything that I've told you about why they're there. And then this narrator breaks in on this werewolf break, as they call it, and he basically asks the question, so who do you think is the werewolf? Points out all the people. Could it be this person, or this person? But what if it was this? It's a very fun and interesting approach. From everything I've read and heard, that the director, Paul Annett, did not want that there, but the producers insisted that it stayed there, or that they put that there. And honestly, I think it was a brave move, and it worked out in their favor. I feel like no movie has done anything like that before, in my opinion, as far as a horror film goes. It does make it slightly meta in a way, because it's stopping the film, and it's asking you as a viewer, as a willing participant, what do you think? So it does kind of get meta in ways, although not one of the characters looks at the camera, breaks that fourth wall. It's just the narrator that we are talking to, that is obviously the one that's breaking the fourth wall to and speaking to us. It's very, very, very well done. I really like how they approached that, and they inserted that in this, and made it a really solid story and solid film, in my opinion. It gave it a little bit of class and panache to it. It was pretty cool. I really like it. As far as any kind of like ratings would go on this thing, on a technical side, this thing's like a 4 out of 5. It is a technical masterpiece. It is almost flawless. There's just little things here and there that honestly, it's hard to make a flawless film technically. On the technical side, it is pretty much it's not impossible, but it is very, very hard for me to see it, or at least for in my eyes, because there's so much more that you could do that can make it better. So there's no such thing as flawless, in my opinion, when it comes to a technical ability, because you can always have room for improvement. So, 4 out of 5 on that. Now, as far as an entertainment goes, I'm going to give it another 4 out of 5. This is like an 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10 kind of movie. This is a absolute blast. The folks over at Severin definitely got it right with this one. I'm going to possibly look into that other werewolf movie they released, the werewolf in a woman's dorm or dormitory or whatever the hell it is. That looks like it's going to be a blast. So, I'm going to look into that one as well. Anyways, that's The Beast Must Die. I highly recommend it. I hope you guys go out there and stream it or give it a watch. Do whatever you can to track down a copy to see this. It is well worth your time, especially if you like a little class to your horror. Your scaries, your spookiness. If you like a little class to it, then this is definitely one for you. There's nothing trashy or tasteless about this movie, in my opinion. I think it is done very, very well. Very, very done tip-top fashion, as I like to say. All right, guys, top-notch stuff. Do tune in for the rest of the week. I got nothing but werewolves and werewolves for you. I got, let's see, what do I got? 2 foreign ones coming up, and then another English one, or another American one. I'm not 100% on the third one, but for sure I got 2 foreign ones for you. One from Japan and one that came from Italy. So there's going to be some awesome stuff coming your way as far as Werewolf Week goes. All right, guys, love your faces, and I'll see you tomorrow. And as always, peace.